Today I'm going to be harvesting some rhubarb. And when I go to harvest, I don't cut it off. What I do is you come down here and you find the piece. And you get down near the base. Now, of course, this one's going to be stubborn. And you pull it off. There you go. That helps with the plant. It'll have it so that the rest of this, like smaller rhubarb, will still grow. I know I've had rain for the whole month of June, so some of these babies are not doing that great. So I'll show you again over here on this one. So I reach down near the base and I just twist. And that's how it comes off. And that's how we harvest rhubarb here. The plants you see, all these plants originally came from my great-grandfather. This rhubarb is over 100 years old, and it's been in the family that long. Welcome to Bramble Moon Homestead channel. Today we'll be making rhubarb coffee cake. I got my ingredients already out, and I'm going to show you how to prep your rhubarb. So with the rhubarb, as you can see by this one stalk, I've already taken off the leaf part, which is very poisonous. Don't give it to your chickens. Don't just toss it away. I don't even put it in my compost pile. Probably should, but I just don't. I toss it away so no animals will get in because the leaf is very poisonous. The rest of the stalk is great. So as you saw earlier in my video is how I took it off the plant. Now, as you can see, I've almost got my 2 cups ready. I'm just going to show you the end. As I was slicing, part of this got a little stringy, so I take this off. Some people do, some people don't. It is completely and utterly up to you. So then when I go to slice, for this, I do slices, and I'll try to see if I can show the camera. Is there a little over 1/8, but under 1/4? See if that's any better. And then I slice them in half again. So that way I get bits of rhubarb for the coffee cake, and I don't have big slices. If the rhubarb, as you're doing this, and you notice some of your slices again are getting stringy, is just pull the strings. The outside is edible, but sometimes, depending on the year, and this year the weather, we haven't had a ton of sun here in New Hampshire, so the outer part is just a little stringy. So to start this recipe, in my mixing bowl, I'm going to put 1 stick of butter, which equals 1/2 cup. I'll get my spatula. I have it at room temperature. And then you cream your butter. And then you're going to add in 1 egg and beat a little longer, and then add the other egg and beat a little longer. I'm going to show you this step afterwards because my mixer is kind of loud, so we'll be back in just a minute. All right, so after creaming the butter and sugar together, then I added in the 1 egg, 1 at a time. So there's 2 eggs total, but I add them 1 in, let it go for a little bit, let it go again. As you can see, it makes a really nice creamy mixture. So now the next step is to stir in the sour cream and vanilla. Now, the vanilla you'll see here, it'll look like it's kind of dirty or has spots, but I put in a little bit of vanilla bean scrapings in, because that's what we like to do. I like a little bit of the vanilla bean. The next, and the vanilla was 1 teaspoon. The whole recipe will be down in the description. So now it's sour cream, and I use 1 cup of sour cream. If you don't want to use sour cream, you can use plain yogurt. You can use low-fat sour cream. So there's plenty of substitutes out there. This is just what we prefer. So now that that's all together, now I'm going to stir this together. Because of the type of mixing bowl I have, I've got to get down there in the bottom, make sure everybody's getting incorporated nice. When I creamed my butter and sugar, what I find works a little better is I let it go for about 2.5 minutes, and then I add in the first egg, and then I get that incorporated, and then I add in the second egg. So it takes between 3 and 4 minutes to really get your cream, your butter, your sugar, and your eggs done. Now that I've incorporated the sour cream, and that's looking good. The next part is your flour and baking soda. So it is 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I've already sifted it together and put in. So what you want to do is don't do a hard mix. That's why this is off my mixer, is you want to fold this in. So I put that in my bowl. Get my other part in my sink there. And to fold means I just scrape along from the bottom to the top, because you want to fold this in. It's not stirring, which would be more like this and going and going and going. You really want to fold these ingredients in to incorporate them. This may take a minute or two, but as you can see already, it's starting to come together. And you're looking for a nice kind of a cake-like consistency. And as you can see, it's starting to take now. I'm kind of doing this at an angle so you can see what's going on. So just give me a second to really scrape my bowl around. There we go. As you can see, the dough comes together. It doesn't even, well, about a minute by hand. Scrape down the bottom of my bowl, make sure it's all caught. The thing with these deeper mixing bowls is sometimes it gets caught on the bottom there. All right, so now that we have that, we're going to add in the rhubarb. Get my pan ready here. So these are the type of measuring cups I just happen to use. This is my cake tester. It's actually called an Amish cake tester, and these work great. That's going to be the top. There we go. Get this switched around. So with the rhubarb, some people say dust your fruit whenever you're putting fruit into a mix, a cake batter, or like this with a coffee cake batter. I don't. If it's at the top, down below, doesn't matter. I just want to kind of through the whole mixture. So put those 2 cups in. Hey, everybody out of the bowl. There's always a few that try to leave behind. Use my little mixing spoon. My teaspoon end. And there we go. So now I'm going to take and mix 2 cups of that chopped rhubarb and just get it mixed in enough that it's through the batter. I'm trying not to overstir too much. There we go. Everybody's incorporated. So from here, this is a 9x13 pan, and it has been greased. My stove I set at 350, and it went off while the mixer was going off, so I know my stove is come to temperature. So get your mixture down in your pan. You're going to see the bottom of the bowl in a second, maybe. There we go. Now it's coming out. Get those sides scraped. And now just push this down through your pan as level as you can. Homemade cooking, nothing is perfect. tucked in my corners there. Get that piece of rhubarb back in. There we go. All right, now for a topping. Oh, let me get my fork. That's what I forgot. There we go. Get part of this off. So for the topping, it is a tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of flour. I use 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. But my version of cinnamon is what I call apple pie spice. So it has 2 different types of cinnamon in it. It has cloves, a little bit of mace, and nutmeg. And I pre-make that, and I use it in all my apple pie. But I like it. The butter is room temperature, so what you're just going to do is cut this in, and I just use a fork. Other people use hands. But you just kind of want to get this to make a topping. Whoop, trying to jump out of my bowl already. You can see it's starting to crumble and come down now. And basically what you're trying to do is get all that brown sugar and the spice along with a little bit of flour in it to crumble with the butter. Got a little bit left down in my corners. It's looking good. There. As you can see, it's starting to come together and stick together well. So from here, because we're making this for mine, is you just kind of drop the pieces and the butter will spread that's in this and crumble it along. Like I said, you can use more, you can use less. Everybody likes a little different in how sweet you want it. Oh, got one big lump there I have to take care of. You can see I kind of dot it through, so it's everybody's got a little of this. Now they say this serves 6 to 8 people, but truthfully that's pretty big. Even if you did it off 2, 4, 6, probably closer to 8 to 10 people once it's done. Depends on how much everybody really likes it. There we go. So as you can see, the topping is just kind of spread across my 9 by 13. So from here, I'm going to put it in the oven. You bake between 30 to 40 minutes. This is what I use as a tester. Like I said, they call this Amish cake testers. You just break off a stalk. Of course, my hands are a little buttery. And that's what I'm going to use to test this with. So I'll be back in just a few with the finished product. All right, so here is the coffee cake out. Now that my hands aren't as buttery. So I just use this to test. And it's coming up clean. So this is ready to go. It's hot out of the oven. It took about 35 minutes for this rhubarb coffee cake to cook. It's a little hot for me to go ahead and cut, but you will see a photo in the beginning of this video of how this came out. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.